Welcome to the Squares of the Round Table podcast. I'm Jive Ivan Rivera, and with me are the incredible voices of Mr. Mike and Mr. Jeff. How we doing, boys?
Awesome.
All good?
Yeah.
Happy Monday.
Well, happy Monday.
Well, not Monday, but technically it is Monday because that's the day we record.
Yeah,
but it's not Monday. It might not be Monday when you folks are listening. We appreciate it.
I'm telling you, one of these days we'll get this intro figured out.
Yeah. All right. Fuck this. Let's start over.
No, I like this.
Here we go. Ready?
No, let's keep this. This is funny. I like this.
All right, we're gonna keep going. It's too late.
All right.
Well, this is amusing.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, cat's out of the bag. Especially because we were talking before the show, because it's Martin Luther King Day, and Ivan was talking about we wanted, I had a dream with Martin Luther King, and Ivan said something interesting that I wasn't aware of. That so Motown recorded "I Have a Dream."
They released an entire album with the entire speech, and then on the flip side there was a couple of artists that were appearing there, and they had recorded them as well. So I have this 45 right here, which is an excerpt from the album. And the album was called "The Great March to Freedom."
Okay, so what else is? I know obviously by the time we play this, it's not needed to be played. But I'm curious. So what else is on there that they give you?
There's on this 45. There's a track from Liz Land's, which of course is called "We Shall Overcome," and it's the Voices of Salvation are backing her up. This is wonderful gospel style type of tune as well.
Wait, hold it, Ivan, hold on. All right, Mike, what do you want to wager on what Ivan's eating?
Well, he already told me before we got started, so I can't wager.
No,
I know what it is.
You want to guess? Oh, that's right, he did. He told us he was eating Skittles, right?
No,
not Skittles.
I'm not eating Skittles now. No.
Not eating Skittles now. All right.
I didn't eat Skittles before either.
We're eating Skittles before. Okay. Why did I think it was Skittles? I have no idea.
No, because I have a full container of Skittles with me here now. Nom nom there later, but
Ladies and gentlemen, sound effects on the show this week.
All right, we need we need rain on a metal roof, Ivan. Can you handle that? See, there we go. Yeah. All right. Okay, the rain stopped. Okay, Ivan, knock it off.
Yeah. It was a cold. Be nice.
So, how you all doing? How you doing, Ivan?
I'm doing good.
Hey, we had we put you up a couple times on the Facebook page with some of your gigs that you were out at this time.
Oh yeah, that was some of the things that I got to do this week. I mean, this last week rather, and this was a busy one. I mean, after the last recording session of the podcast, then I was at Electric Jungle on Tuesday. Wednesday, I was at Logan Arcade, and I did my Out of the Satchel session, which I do every third Wednesday of the month. And then I was at Cafe Mustache, and they have a rock and roll trivia thing that they do. And I follow right after the rock and roll trivia, and I did an all doo-wop set for that particular evening's entertainment. Then Mathers on Friday, my usual Friday Mathers gig. And then I was doing the Sweet Soul Sunday, which was yesterday. So it was pretty busy disc jockey week. And coming up shortly after this podcast is pretty much up, I'll be probably listening from the splendorous place called Wisconsin Dells. I'm leaving with Julie for the weekend coming up, just kind of a winter's getaway.
Oh, where are you going?
A place called the Rivers Inn.
Okay.
And so, we're just going to kind of like just hang out, get away from it, all that type of thing, low key. Nothing major. I mean, we might hit the Ripley's Believe It or Not. We might see whatever things that might still be open.
You bringing the trunks to go into a water park?
Well, no water parks. No, we're gonna be indoors. Gonna be probably.
Yeah, all the water parks are indoors this time of year, Ivan.
No, I mean what I mean is that I'll probably be doing more pool time and more hot tub time and more spa time than actual, water park time.
You're not gonna ride the wave.
No.
No, for fear
of me falling off the board and sending all the water in different directions,
Yeah, dolls can be fun.
I like the dolls. I mean, I was kind of hoping Paul Bunyan would be open so that way I could get my my sugar donut fix, but it's not.
No.
But if Howie Huge Breakfast is open, then I'm definitely going to do Howie Huge Breakfast.
Okay.
What does that consist of?
It's a buffet style type of thing. It's kind of like Golden Corral.
Okay.
But just all breakfast food.
Yes.
Do I really want to know? Then we're just going to be hungry the rest of the show, right? I mean, I could ask these questions, but then later I'm going to be like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. And I'm trying not to eat in the middle of the show.
All right. So then I won't go into the menu, but, but yeah, it's really good. I mean, I haven't been to Wisconsin Dells in a long time, so I'm sure a lot has changed since the last time I was there. So it'll be interesting to see what's available. I hope they got as many secondhand shops and antique stores like they always do. They always tend to do, so because there's some things I'm hoping to find, like, records. Like I need more records, but of course, always looking to find the jewels, that become part of the disc jockey sessions that I bring back here to the city, and it's fun. I did the anniversary of Motown. They had a 60th anniversary Motown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that just passed, and then that was my session. I did an entire evening of Motown music over at Cafe Mustache. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so Motown. I don't know, Mike. What do you like in Motown, or am I putting you on the spot? Because I know it's all about Matthew Sweet for you and Weird Al.
No, not really. I listen to more soundtracks nowadays.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
orchestral stuff.
They do have a sound. They do at least have one soundtrack that I'm aware of from Motown.
Oh, The Last Starfighter?
What?
No, not The Last Starfighter.
Yeah.
No.
That movie was 80s cheese, but it was good.
Was that The Last Starfighter? Now I'm gonna have to look this up.
What? It was the one where the kid plays the video game, and then the guy comes down, says, we need you to save the galaxy for real.
Right. I know the movie, but I don't think Motown did their soundtrack.
I think they did.
Apparently he did, because Ivan just pulled it out of his head.
Not only that, I think they produced the movie. I think it was third and last movie that they ever produced.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know what movie you're thinking about. It's not The Last Starfighter.
The Last something.
It's The Last Dragon.
That's totally just like The Last Starfighter.
Yeah, because it's the last Dragon. It's the one with the barge and all that stuff. Where
that was right. Yeah, you're right.
It's the Kung Fu movie. Now that would have been something if it would have been The Last Starfighter. No, yeah, I know you've seen that movie, right, Mike?
The Last Dragon?
Yeah, you have to have seen it.
I might have seen it on cable a long time ago. I don't remember.
But I don't think
cornball.
I don't think we're spoiling anything. I mean, it's pretty cheesy. But,
it's cornball.
But it's about a guy who finds the inner power within himself. It's kind of like Motown decided to do a karate movie. Yep. But they do have one of the greatest villains of all time in that movie.
Who's that?
Shonuff.
What happened to him, man?
I don't know, but he is one of the best villains. I mean, the part at the beginning where he shows up in the movie theater and says he's going to take on everybody in the movie theater is still one of the greats. And then he's always like, Leroy! And all that stuff. He is a classic. It is kind of considered like somewhat of a classic, but yeah, I think that's the movie you're thinking about, Ivan, not The Last Starfighter.
Okay, yeah, that is the one, The Last Dragon. You're right. You're right. You know what? Age does that to you.
Now that would have been amusing if it had been a I'd love to have seen Barry Gordy's take on that movie.
Oh, there we go. But they also had Mahogany, which was filmed in Chicago, and that soundtrack. And then Lady Sings the Blues, which was an abysmal rendition of the life of Billie Holiday, which, and both of them had soundtracks. And let me see. I think they also did Trouble Man. Marvin Gaye did the soundtrack to that movie. Big Time was another movie that also got a soundtrack on Motown as well. So there's several. There's more than one. But as far as the world of Motown is concerned, I got lots I can put into that because of the stance that Motown was trying to make at the time that it started and such. I mean, can I give you a short story as to how that all came together?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, all right. Well, okay, Mr. Barry Gordy, who he was a songwriter, and he went under different names, but his first records to have been recorded using his songs was Repetit by Jackie Wilson. And so that started the ball rolling. And then he had a cat by the name of Mark Johnson, and he started producing his music for United Artists. Motown per se did not come into existence until later on, after Gordy started getting his music and started getting his compositions recorded and such. So he used all this extra money. But then in comes Smokey Robinson, which Smokey Robinson before, a lot of people say that Smokey Robinson started with Motown. No, he did not start with Motown. He started in a pseudo doo-wop group, as far as the Miracles were concerned, when they released all their records on End. But it wasn't until he started producing stuff with Barry Gordy on Chess Records here in Chicago that's where the two ended up coming together, and then decided, okay, we're going to start Tamla Records, which Tamla is a niece of Barry Gordy. And that's how that started. And the one of the first projects to come out besides Come to Me, which was a short run on the original first Tamla label, but the problem is they had no distribution, so that ended up being a local release. But the next release was to pretty much put Motown on the map, and that was Shop Around. So then by 1959, Barry Gordy and Smokey Robinson, as its head writer and collaborator, started gaining more steam as far as the recordings were concerned. But it wasn't up until late 62, early 63 that it started establishing its identity. Before then, you found a myriad of different types of artists that were on Motown: rock and rollers, doo-wop artists, blues artists, and such. But until the writing house started doing things, in-house, that was when Motown started to establish its identity with, songs from the Temptations, the Marvelettes, Martha Reeve and the Vandellas, the Supremes. Mm-hmm. And, each group had its own, individual story. I won't go into all that tonight, today, but there it is. But further down the line, Barry's aspirations to want crossover success resulted in a few lukewarm and somewhat abysmal releases on Motown, because he tried to cater to the Las Vegas crowd, to the more pop-oriented white audiences of the time and place. And it's been also said by a few people that Motown is black music for white people, which, I don't see the gravity of that myself. I mean, it's great music, and its cleverly written lyrics, its hooks, its production matter, which is very interesting in of itself. And as it goes on, as time went on, and as things started to change in the mid to late 1960s, the sound of Motown was getting away from its traditional assembly line sonics, and with the advent of producer Norman Whitfield, it ended up changing the label for the better, because it ended up making it more trendy with the times that was surrounding Motown 66, 67, and so on. And by the time 1971 was around, the Motown sound that everybody got to know was almost non-existent, because artists, singers were starting to do their own projects, write their own material, started to come out with their own visions, headed up by Marvin Gaye and followed by others. So as time went on, the Motown label and all of its subsidiaries ended up garnering different things from different fields. For example, if you think of Tamla, Gordy, Motown, those were the major three releases off of that company. Then you had their other subsidiaries, which of course, was Workshop Jazz, which was short-lived, Inferno, which was short-lived, VIP, which catered to a very eclectic roster of people. Also you had Rare Earth, which catered to a more rock and roll sensibility with a group called Rare Earth, and a number of other artists who appeared on that label. Then by the time the 1980s came around, pretty much all of the rest of the labels had been folded into the whole Motown heading and made its way through, with groups like Jermaine Jackson and the Dazz Band and such. And then by now, the company was then headed by Stevie Wonder, and then later was sold to MCA for an astronomical amount of money. So now MCA has the masters to all of
which is actually Universal.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of Universal
now. So that's NBC, Comcast, Universal.
Right, exactly.
Those are the three that are with that. By the way, we are way wrong about movies and Motown. I kind of just was curious and was checking some stuff out. Apparently Motown had an entire movie TV division that started in the 60s.
Well, the movie and television division, I mean, they did their specials through their division. They did, I mean, Motown itself was involved with Lady Sings the Blues, and Motown itself was involved with Mahogany, and Motown itself was involved with The Last Dragon.
Right. Not The Last Starfighter.
Not The Last Starfighter.
No, Last Dragon.
Not The Last Starfighter.
All right.
I would say probably for again, if you're older, you know some of the other ones, but to me, the ones that stand out obviously are Last Dragon, and then The Wiz, which was Diana Ross, Michael Jackson.
Of course, yeah.
Which is
yeah.
Here's the interesting part that I thought was interesting.
What's that?
There's some things I wasn't aware that they ever produced. That was them.
Okay, that was?
Here's the crazy one. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Lonesome Dove.
Yeah.
Come on, Mike. Would you imagine Lonesome Dove from Motown?
No, I would not have.
Right. That's what I mean. I'm like, that'd be the last thing I would have ever imagined that they would produce. That's kind of surprising. I was like, I did like a double take. I'm like, wow. And it looks like they've had some stuff, it's funny, they've had a few things on the more, I think what's interesting is they've had a few things in the more recent side. The ones that of note that I can note is obviously they were doing Showtime at the Apollo with Steve Harvey. and they did that sister show with the two girls that was
that's Tamara twins, yeah.
Right, and then it's interesting because they did. It looks like in the '90s they did two movies under their new name, which is something called Depasse Entertainment. They did a Kid and Play movie in '92, Class Act, and then they did, and you'll get a kick out of this, Ivan, hip hop radio personalities Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. That? I heard that was horrible, by the way.
Yeah, they were from the MTV show.
Right. MTV Raps, right.
Yeah,
right.
Is it, I think it's Ed Lover who's now still on in town now, right?
I know a lot of the MTV VJs got hired by XM Radio.
Right, but I think Ed Lover is here in town right now in Chicago, isn't he? Or is it no? I think it's Ed Lover. Yeah, he's on BMX Jams. That's what I thought. Okay. So he's here in Chicago now, but he has been for a little bit. I've caught him a couple of times. He's pretty good. Well, there's a reason why he's a legend. Actually.
So, Ivan, what's your most cherished Motown record?
My most cherished Motown record? My most cherished Motown record.
Yes, your most cherished Motown record.
Yes, the most cherished Motown record.
The most cherished Motown record. I'm going to edit some of that out.
No.
Maybe.
Okay, it would be Lover by Sherry and Singing Sammy Ward.
Okay.
That's one of my most cherished Motown records, and you say, who in the heck are those two?
Right. I'll look that up after the show.
You know me, I tend to go into the more obscure crevices of record labels and such, and like I mentioned before, Motown had their fair share of oddities, if you want to call them that. You know, no, that's not a really good word. Unique releases in the first part of the tenure of the label. There were the Swinging Tigers. There were the Satin Tones. There was the Serenaders. There was Popcorn Wiley, Richard Popcorn Wiley, who later went on to become a huge producer and funk master on some of the later soul releases at Motown. But they all started, as singers and entertainers. Mabel John, who was the sister to Little Willie John, had several releases on Motown. Carolyn Crawford. Then, of course, you had Debbie Dean, who was Motown's first white vocalist.
Was she related to Jimmy?
No, not at all.
Okay, just checking.
And then of course you had a rock band on Motown called The Ones that was on that label as well. So there was a number of releases on Motown that you think to yourself, okay, they were trying to get to that crossover appeal rather as people as groups or as in-house situations. And then they had some artists they had gotten from other places that they tried to produce under the Motown heading, which, for better or for worse, came off with mixed results. Case in point, Brenda Holloway, she did a great song. It was a hit record. Every Little Bit Hurts, but she came by way of California, and she had her release there first on Delphi, which was Bob Keane's label. That was, Richie Valens's label in that time and place. And then Barry liked, her style, but the only problem was that after Every Little Bit Hurts, trying to get her to blend in with the way they did things at Motown was not the easiest thing to do. Let me see. And, that was the same for Kim Weston. Kim Weston also came from another label, and her biggest success outside of a couple of the 45s she had under her own name were under the stable of what they were known as Marvin Gaye's Girls, which, he had done duets with Kim Weston, with Mary Wells, with Tammy Terrell, which means he was to have the most success with, and of course Diana Ross did a couple with him too.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, I think Mike and I are at that point where when you start talking about those names, we kind of sit there and go,
Oh,
We
yeah.
have no idea what
That one, yeah. That
Yeah,
one I've
that
never
one.
heard of.
That one. That one.
So, Ivan, does the Hitsville USA building still exist?
yes, it does. Very much exists. It's it's a tourist attraction now, and you can go there and you can check out the offices, the studios, the hole in the ceiling that served as an echo chamber to some of their recordings. And it's still there. In
been
fact, I have never been.
Where is it?
I have never been. Well, it's in Detroit.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, it's in Detroit.
That narrowed it down. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's in Detroit, and you can get to it. It's easy access, and I think it's open all the days of the year.
Okay, what are their business hours, Ivan?
What's their business hours?
Ah,
Not that
okay.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Yeah, he's just throwing me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, to me, when I think Motown, I'm.
I was thinking it's Temptations.
Yeah, Temptations, Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
The other thing that it's funny because technically he's part of Motown, but really in reality, that Motown 25, the Motown 25 special in '83 on NBC,
Yeah.
is part of what launched Michael Jackson as a solo artist, and it was interesting because he wouldn't do the show without Barry Gordon agreeing to allowing him to do one of his songs that was not a Motown song. So, but that was a huge moment at that time. That was another thing that helped put Michael Jackson over the top to being the king of pop.
Well, there was a lot of
Sorry, what was that from?
there was a lot of friction, especially later in the careers of the Jackson 5 with Michael Jackson, especially when they defected to Epic Records.
Right.
With Sony, yeah.
And so this kind of broke Barry Gordy's heart in a way, because up until that point, the Jackson 5 records were a very big selling commodity for Motown, because many of the other artists were in their twilight years as far as the label was concerned. I mean, Marvin Gaye was becoming more and more, introspective in his music. Stevie Wonder was, had total control of his music now. And, groups like, the Marvelettes and the Velvelettes and Diana Ross, that's a whole nother story in of itself.
Yeah.
But, as far as, a lot of the groups, later on, they weren't charting nearly as often as they did in the 60s, what was happening in the 70s. The 70s things that pretty much kept things going was the Jackson 5. And then when Epic, kind of tossed all this money into their lap and then they left because, Epic said, well, we'll give you something that you're not getting at Motown, and that's creative control. Because as long as you're at Motown, you're dealing with the corporation, and you're going to do the songs the way they want you to do the songs.
And that's what Michael wanted.
Was the creative, exactly, the creative control.
Now, was he on Epic or Columbia?
Epic.
Yeah.
Epic.
Okay. Which is pretty much the same thing.
I remember that when I got my first Thriller cassette, and I remember it saying Epic Records on it.
So after, their tenure at Epic, the first time out with the Jackson family, with the brothers, and that's when everything just kind of started taking off, and then that was when Off the Wall came out. That was
right. But didn't Jermaine go back to Jermaine went and married Berry Gordy's daughter, right?
I believe that to be true.
Wow.
And then what happened at that junction was that Jermaine ended up getting he ended up releasing things on Motown, but
right.
I think the two things were Let Me Tickle Your Fancy, I think was kind of a new wave urban type of sound he was going for, which wasn't really totally well received. I mean, it did get some hit status, but not to the strong millions that they were kind of hoping he would. He made one other album, and then of course that wasn't the first time that Jermaine was featured prominently on a Motown single. He did do he did redo Daddy's Home, the fabulous Shep and the Limelights evergreen, back when he was with the Jackson 5. But yeah, Jermaine couldn't sustain the situation or the momentum that was started back, when he went back to Motown. So
he never left, Ivan. He never left. He actually never left.
Oh, really?
He apparently was already married to Berry. I'm having real fun talking tonight. Apparently he was already married to Berry Gordy's daughter by that point. So he stayed, and the rest of them went, and they replaced Jermaine with Randy for the Jackson 5.
Mm-hmm. All right, fair enough. Again.
I just kind of looked it up because I remember there being something there about all of that, and I couldn't remember all the details. I knew there was sort of a split with that, but it is kind of interesting because you stop and think about it. If Gordy had been a little bit more open,
mm-hmm.
and been more willing to open the door a little bit more, the Jackson 5 doesn't leave. And maybe all those records get made instead of at Epic, get made at Motown. And usher an entirely new era of Motown and
mm-hmm.
make them even bigger than they ever were.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah, what could have been?
Which I'm sure Barry kicked himself in the ass after all is said and done.
I'm sure we'll really stop and think about it. And the funny part is, could Berry Gordy have sustained a Jackson's group at the same time as Michael Jackson? Or was that just really not possible? Versus once they kind of got to Epic, it kind of turned into the Michael Jackson show. And then,
well, I mean, once they went to Epic, and Epic knew where the money was, and
knew where the talent was.
They knew where the money was. They knew where the talent was. It was like, okay, yeah, the Jackson 5 brothers, that's all good and fine, but Michael Jackson is the lead guy, and so we're going to wrap ourselves around that dude and put him over, and whatever he wants, we'll give him, because we know we're going to get a return on it. And so their gamble paid off handsomely.
Yeah.
Handsomely. And all the way to the end. It is just, and by the time that Thriller was out, on the charts and everything, Motown basically was, going down. And so he cut so Gordy and Stevie Wonder cut their losses and said, okay, let Universal MCA have it.
Well, and it's funny because that's around the same time frame where I think Gordy. It's interesting because the time frame is around the same time that they do The Last Dragon, not The Last Starfighter. And so I wonder if part of it was Berry Gordy sitting there going, okay, we're going to move beyond this and move into like movies and more TV. And let's say this. The Last Dragon wasn't a failure, but I don't know that it was, how do I say, it wasn't exactly like it was like a box office smash. but it wasn't like a failure either. I mean, people still.
I think it just broke even and made its money back. So I think that's as far as that ever went with that, because
I'm curious.
Ask about The Last Dragon with most people, and they're just like, what?
Well, it's got some cult status.
It's got some cult. Well, it definitely has some cult status because, like I said, Show Enough is definitely one of those villains that people still talk about today.
Yeah.
Even today, I'm trying to see. The IMDb is good for this stuff, but it's not as easy to find numbers. So let's see if I can use Wikipedia because it's a little bit faster.
Would it be on IMDb?
Nah, but I'm not as versed in it. Let's see. It did get a mixed response from critics. Rotten Tomatoes still has it right now at about a 59%. 59% currently. I'm looking to see if they give us any sort of in pop culture to talk about. Yeah, they don't give us numbers. They don't give us numbers here. I don't know if IMDb would do that, but
I see what you're saying. But as far as Motown after the sale, to Universal and such, then it opened up the world of 12s to them, which there were a lot of Motown 12-inchers that by the time, you had hip-hop artists and house artists and, rap artists, trying to make a go on it. And, Motown were releasing records under entirely different, circumstances by the 80s and by the 90s. So.
Here's crazy. Ready for this?
What?
Do you know who was in that movie that I never would have caught, and apparently it's one of his first films?
What's that?
William H. Macy.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know. I don't even think I remembered that.
Me neither.
Yeah, no, that's not a movie I would think about with William H. Macy.
What year was that movie? What year was that movie?
85.
Okay.
85.
Oh, right in my alley.
85, which is why... See, the timelines work out for that, too, because... that would make sense why...
Why Gordy would be going in that direction, since...
Right. Why would Gordy sit there and not work more to make sure about the Jack... Unless he had already lost him and then this was his big gamble, which is possible. I seem to remember that, too.
Well, it was because of the fact that he was, since the label was in its decline, it was just his way of saying, okay, well, the money for the music isn't happening, so let's venture into this. This gives me a little bit more heartily, and you figure, in 85, but then here it is in 84. You had Purple Rain.
Yeah.
The Thriller album was out there, and of course Michael Jackson pretty much was the king of videos on MTV. So you had all of that going on. So by the time The Last Dragon, and not The Last Starfighter, came out in 85, I mean, pretty much it was a little too late, actually. When you
the other thing is, too, is that's around the point in time that the Run DMC album comes out with the Aero.
Right. With the Aerosmith track.
What is it? Is it Raising Hell? I can't remember the exact.
Raising Hell, and it was Walk This Way was the big track.
Walk This Way. I mean, there's a lot of great songs on that album. I had that one too.
Well, it's a great album.
Right. It's one of the between them and the Beastie Boys.
Thank you. The Beastie Boys. I mean, hands down.
That took rap to another level. That's You know, and that's where you get your LL Cool J's, and that's the crazy part is LL Cool J was around back then, and he's still a monster now. So
LL Cool J, we're talking about a dude that has crossed over every known musical border that there is, and not to mention the fact he's in movies, he's on television. I think he had a clothing line for a time. Ladies love Cool J.
And he's in the Hall of Fame, I think, this year, right? Is that correct?
I believe that to be true. Yes, I believe that to be true.
Okay. Well, yeah. So anyway, the only reason I think about this is it's funny because it's like, boy, you know, if it wasn't the Motown sound, but boy, you would have thought Berry Gordy would have had his pulse on the whole rap game at that point. Yeah. He could have been. He was the guy that could have been that guy where instead of having, you know, your Def Jam and all of those guys and Russell Simmons and all those guys, he could have been right there.
But he wasn't.
Well, he could have been, but I guess you know, when you're running a record label and you do the day-to-day business sensibilities and stuff, it's kind of hard to keep up with the pulse of what's happening in the music world. And so with that, and by that time, he probably maybe just been tired. He was just like, man, you know what? I started this. Here it is. You know, the world's a changing place. The music arena is a changing place, and I guess I just can't seem to keep up with it now because there's just too much really good product happening at this time and place for me to try to keep up with.
Maybe there was an adapt or die kind of sensibility, but maybe he just thought that traditional songs, not to say that rap is not to delegitimize it, but maybe he just thought it was maybe like a fad or something.
That's possible too.
Maybe
that could be a big possibility because a lot of people for a long time thought that rap music was going to come and go, just like house was going to come and go, and like hip hop was going to come and go. But no, when you got movies behind it, and then of course the whole dance community, starting back with Dave Barry, Rerun, who basically is pretty much the by some to be the starting point of the whole pop and lock and electro boogie and hip house and hip hop dance, and then of course you had the New York Breakers.
Right.
Maybe he just thought that it was something like disco, like it would come and go.
Right, exactly. So he figured.
Well, the thing is that it's interesting is because when you talk about a lot of those different communities, when you start talking about house and hip hop and all those types of things, the interesting part is rap essentially became. I mean, all those things that you're talking about all essentially became. You know, you could describe rap as hip-hop these days. And you can describe house as hip-hop these days. So, I mean, they kind of all melded together, and that's the other thing, is rap eventually became club music. Which as soon as that happened, it was all over.
Then it exploded. You had, and then you had those guys working with all types of other artists. I mean, when Madonna started getting out there working with Jelly Bean Benitez, when you had you had your number of disc jockeys that were producing because they got the club thing down, and that they were getting the energy from all of these rappers and these hip house guys and these people in their bedrooms piecing together mixtapes and putting the beat out there. Nina Cherry, Buffalo Stance with the scratching, which was the starting point for that. And, and it just became the voice of youth. Just like Berry Gordy years before, it was just, his thing was the sound of young America. Well, all those people became the sound of young America.
Yeah.
And how that evolved, like pop music, how we got the 12-inch or we got the 7-inch single release with all the remixes.
Okay, and the reason why that is a club sensibility.
Yeah.
because what they would do is that certain DJs would take some of the tracks off of because you had the alternate mixes, you had the dub, you had just the voices and such, and they became DJ tools. And so with these DJ tools, they could take and come up with a myriad of combinations to create new tracks for the dance floor, to individualize the experience per DJ. When you start talking about Frankie Knuckles, when you start talking about Paul Johnson, when you start talking about Kool Keith, when you start talking about and the list goes on, and you get these guys who take and they're always creating either from within themselves or from whatever things are made available to them. In fact, it's a very much a live situation today.
That's where we got into sampling and thing.
Well, that became a legal entanglement, but as time went on, things got better and better. But in the beginning, it was a very sticky thing because a lot of people said, okay, sure, they're perpetuating the music, but then you had some of those people say, no.
Although it's because now the funny part about all of that is that most of these guys want them to use those tracks because then what happens is sometimes is when you do that, it gets people to go looking back for the old tracks. Or sometimes what will happen with some of the club stuff is they'll take the old stuff and they'll mix it in with the new stuff, and then it gives it a unique sound. But that's.
Then there's the ones like that one meme where, like, man, I thought I was listening to Under Pressure, but damn it, it's Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Because the old music begat all the stuff that ends up becoming what's new again.
Have you ever heard about what Vanilla Ice said about that? It's one of the funniest things if you find it, or when he talks about that, he goes, no, I created that song entirely. And how he explains it is that song goes dun 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 dun, and he goes, my song goes ding 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 ding.
No, you
ding dong.
You know what you're saying? No, I'm saying the soundbite is out there. It exists. It really said it, and everybody's like, really?
Well, who has a home improvement reality show, and who is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah. Well.
Right. So there's that whole thing, and I mean, the sampling thing.
Home improvement show?
Yeah.
Where?
Vanilla Ice has his own home improvement reality show.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's true. Look it up.
Google
it. Why don't you?
Look it up, why don't you?
Yeah.
Well, now
I'm the internet's.
I had a very interesting thing happen because on Instagram I do a thing called Needle Drops, and I put out the After the Laughter by Wendy Renee, who was like this. She was on Stax Records for like a very short time, but as far as the song was concerned, it was sampled by the Wu-Tang Clan. And so I played my original 45, and somebody actually chimed in saying, can I get a Wu-Tang? Which I'm like, okay. So everything begets everything else,
Yep.
Holy shit, you're right. Wow. It's still on.
Yep.
There's like 8 people.
Well, he's got to pay the rent somehow. It ain't for music. I'll never forgive him for that Ninja Turtles song.
Go Ninja!
Oh my God!
Ninja,
Yeah.
Go Ninja! Go Ninja! Go Ninja!
No.
No.
What episodes of this thing? Holy cow! Really?
What channel?
Been around a while.
What channel is it on?
Oh well, the DIY network.
Yeah. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Do it yourself network.
Yeah. That's really something. I don't think I'd want Vanilla Ice to show up at my house to work on stuff. I'd be like, get the hell out of here. What are you doing here? No way.
Is he gonna start rapping, or is he gonna rearrange my kitchen? We don't know. Either way, I don't care.
Is he going to explain to me that song goes dun 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 dun, and his song goes ding 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 ding?
Yeah. Get out of here.
Dun 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 dun. Hey, look, it's a hammer with nails. You know I cannot fail. Yes, you know the truth, 'cause I'm up on top of your roof. Coming down with a tail, but of course you got the tiles and the scales, and of course we go into the bathroom, and it go with a boom, 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 and a doom, 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 doom. It's a shower head. Doom, 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 doom.
Is that really the song? That would be hysterical if it was. That really was like his theme song?
Yeah.
I was
totally off the top of the head off that, man.
Yeah, but there's a part of me where I'm like, if that legitimately was the theme song,
that would be hysterical.
I'm in. I would watch just the theme.
He has to do, maybe that's the thing. Maybe we need him to do rap for each house he does at the end of the episode. Yeah. He's got to freestyle it, like they say.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. No.
You know I got to pay for life when I go ahead and install this 6-inch pipe. Yo!
That's an awfully large pipe for a house.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that alone.
PVC only goes to 4 inches.
Well, this is true. I was kind of expounding on that one.
He's laying a 6-inch pipe, I guess.
No, well, don't let him down. Well,
anyway.
I won't be done until I put up this here windowsill. Is it plastic or made of wood? Hey, you know that plastic's good. You know I fill it in. That's where I've been. It's 12 o'clock. It's lunchtime. Yes, of course, let's do a bit of hammer time. Doom, 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 doom.
DJ Ivan, fix it.
Fix it, DJ Fix It Jive.
Yeah. DJ Jive and Fix It. There you go. So it was really funny. You know, we had our last show, and I said to you, we're going to get the Spider-Man trailer this week. And the next morning...
that always it drops the day after we record.
Right. And I'm like, oh, come on. Really? I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Did everybody see the trailer or no?
Of course I did.
Okay.
Ivan? I don't know if Ivan did.
I don't know if Ivan.
No.
No.
Okay. And he's on his phone. He can't look it up, so.
No.
Anyway.
No. But, Mike...
I can look it up.
Don't do it now.
Okay.
We can pause it, and then we'll let Ivan watch it, and then we'll get his thoughts on it.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to pause, break, and we'll get our thoughts on the Spider-Man trailer coming up after these messages. And we're back. So, Ivan, what did you think of the trailer?
I thought the trailer was awesome!
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
Yeah, it's good to see.
I'm going to see that.
Yeah. It'll be after Endgame.
All right. July. Yep. Got to get my tickets for that.
Hmm?
That other side's going to be good.
Yeah. It looks good. It was good to see Nick Fury again. Happy Hogan, no Tony. Gasp.
Yeah. You know, I'm getting a little tired of all the people who are complaining about, this gave things away. You don't know what it did or didn't give away.
Yeah.
You know, just go watch. Are you now going to not want to watch the movie?
No, you'll be there. We're all showing up on July 5th for this film.
No, I'm not talking about that, but like, it's like, it's spoiling Endgame. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. This is when the culture goes too far. It's when they're like, it's giving things away. Like, now we know Spider-Man lives, and it's like...
Well, duh! $1 billion franchise. Of course Spider-Man's coming back.
Well,
just like Black Panther's coming back.
I mean, there are some other ways that it could be handled, too, though, where they could come back. Well, you could... I don't want to get into it. It's just really silly. It's like, you're not going to not see either movie now if you're a fan. That's just all there is.
That's true. But yeah, it was cool. I liked the Mysterio in it. Jake looks like he's going to do a good job. There's speculation over whether the water creature is Hydra Man, which we presume, but it might be like one of the elementals.
Well, it could also be just something Mysterio created.
Right, just to prop him up, make him look like a hero.
Right, exactly. Because that looks like an effect that he would be able to pull off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that he has the capability of doing.
Yeah.
Or it could be just something entirely different without our knowledge.
Right. It could be something that's not based on Spider-Man's previous lore.
True.
Right. Which I want to, just for my devil's advocate, that's where I'm going.
I don't know. I'm not really worried about it because this movie doesn't come out for a little while. I'm just glad to see it. I like what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, I do too.
It certainly gave me interest to want to see the movie. Then again, I'm a Spider-Man fan, so I wanted to see the movie anyway. But I thought, I enjoyed it. I thought they gave me enough. It's funny because, Mike, I think you saw this too. Everywhere online, they're trying to figure out little clues towards Endgame out of this. And it's like, can't we just enjoy one movie for one movie and one movie for the other movie? I guess not.
Right. I mean, why are we playing piecemeal with it? I mean, come on.
Well, people think that they can uncover things, and I guess
all the armchair directors, just watch the movie.
It's not that. I can't think. There's just so much anticipation for Endgame. I mean, there really is. I mean, the minute Infinity War ended, I was like, I gotta wait a year.
Yeah.
But okay, but here's the thing though. Everybody's anticipating the Endgame situation. What if everybody anticipates to the point where it becomes such a frenzy, it becomes an actual letdown?
Well, for certain people, it is getting to a frenzy. I mean, there are people who, because look, there's certain things that are going to leak. There's just nothing you can do. Like there are toy sets that are going to have to come out.
Yeah,
okay?
We get those. We call them toilers.
Right.
Spoilers in the form of new action figures, new toys.
Right.
Lego sets have been known to do that.
So you would think that would pop off a giveaway to a point.
I'll never forget, just before episode 1 came out, the soundtrack album on CD came out, and one of the tracks was called Qui-Gon's Funeral.
Okay.
And whoops.
Yeah. Well,
that made some people mad.
Well,
now isn't that a shit on the head,
that was
right?
A spoiler, yeah.
Well, and the best is they had released, because I remember, I can't remember what radio DJ did this on the morning when it came out, but apparently there was the story soundtrack where they read the story, and he freaking plays the part about how Qui-Gon dies, and I'm like, you're a dick.
Yeah. Just like when
I think that all of us being broadcasters, I think that might have just been let me go ahead and do something shitty because I can.
Well, and you know why he did it, because, okay, this is going to get me, maybe this will get me some publicity about that I spoiled it, exactly. It and all this stuff, and it's like, you're a dick. That's what you are.
Yeah, I'm still gonna binge watch the MCU in the month of February.
Yeah, I don't think.
Leading up to Captain Marvel.
You know the funny part is, Mike, I don't plan on binge watching it, but there are so many of the movies out and around between the different cable channels. You can't miss them anymore.
Yeah, I think TNT or FX are running some of the MCU films.
And now some of them are on USA.
Yeah. And
then I have Starz, and Starz has rights to Homecoming, and they run Homecoming for all the time.
Awesome.
They run it a lot. So
I'm going to watch it in the true chronological order that it was intended. I'll start with Captain America, the First Avenger. So, but I have them all on DVD, but I just don't have Iron Man 3, so I'll rent it. So I still can't force myself to pay $20 for a DVD just to say it's missing on my shelf.
Yeah. By the way,
oh boy, I mean, a lot of You know, that sounds typical. You know, that sounds in typical of collector situations where they'll go ahead and they'll pay their money just to patch the hole up in the collection.
Yeah, and you've seen that with your records too. You've got people who are completists as far as artists, labels.
Oh my goodness,
genres.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you've seen that.
And paying hundreds of dollars just to get to these things, just like we were talking when we were talking about Motown earlier, just for a couple seconds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, do you know that a Serenaders 45, which is VIP 25002, is going for now? $100. $100 for a 45 that was basically pretty much dismissed by a lot of the community of Motown, although it did feature George Kerr, Etheridge, and Eddie Kendricks, who later went on to do great things.
What was the name of the song?
And Sidney Barnes. I'll Cry Tomorrow.
I don't even think I know that one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was on their VIP imprint, issue number 25002.
So here, I'll give Mike a segue. I know exactly what you're talking about because for a long time, I wanted to get as much as possible from the Marv Wolfman, George Perez. We're going to miss you, George Perez. I know you're retiring.
Yeah.
We're going to really miss you. Of the Titans. So that takes us right to
Titans.
Yes.
Yeah, I did catch 2 more episodes last week, as well as the season 2 premiere of Star Trek Discovery. So we got 2 more episodes in. We're closer. I think I've only got 2 or 3 left until the end. I'm done with season 1 of Titans. And it's starting to get a little better. We're still figuring out Raven's origins and why these people are after her and who her father is. And now we're starting to get into, because Starfire doesn't know who she is, why she's come to Earth, and now when minor spoilers ahead, if you want to fast forward like 5 minutes ahead, I'll spoil just a little bit that Dick Grayson has run into Wonder Girl because they have a history of working with, obviously, Wonder Woman and Batman when Dick Grayson was still Robin. So now they've determined that Starfire has come to Earth to either find Raven or kill her. We don't know yet. But it's starting to get interesting, and I'm starting to get comfortable in this chair.
Well, that's
all right. It's getting a little better.
That's different. That is not the original origin.
You're right.
Of Starfire at all.
I know.
No, it's not. Not at all.
So that's the thing, though, too, is that they're tying it all together, and they're creating this team, and they're doing their own thing, Well,
that's fine. I just think it's interesting because, to me, these are all stories that you have plenty of time to tell. I don't think you need to tie them all so well, neatly together right from the get-go. But that's just me, But, hey, I just figure you have plenty of time to get to the multi-dimensional demon it only took you years to get to finally to like one of the greatest 5-issue arcs in the history of DC Comics. But okay.
But, it was fine. We're getting there. When season 1 is over, then I'll have my final take on it. But there's still no word yet on Krypton coming out on Sci-Fi this year. Don't know a release date on that.
Hold on, let's see if I can get it.
But like I said, I only got a couple more to go, and then I'm done with Titans on season 1 on DC Universe.
Let's see if I can find anything. Oh, March 21st.
What?
Wait, no. Wait a minute, March 21st. No, that's 2018.
That was last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold
on. Season 2 release date. Will there be a...
Yeah, I checked on Friday. I couldn't find anything.
I'm not finding official date yet. But
there's still no word on the release on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, we're getting the main man. We're getting Lobo, so that was cool. That to me is the best part of that. But I'm trying to think. What did I see? Did I mention that I saw the Kominski Method from Netflix or no?
No. What's that about?
So the Kominski Method is it's the guy. It's that Lurie guy, the guy who produces The Big Bang Theory and 2.5 Men and all that. He did a short 8-episode, half-hour run. It's Alan Arkin and Michael Douglas and Nancy Travis, and it's about an agent and like an actor/acting teacher and their relationship. And it's definitely, it's a little on the slow side, but it definitely is worthwhile. Some interesting conversations. It's funny at times. There's certainly some interesting points to the show. And I know it's gotten a little bit of acclaim in some of the awards that's been going on for some of the TV stuff lately. I enjoyed it. Now in fairness, like I said, we binged the whole thing. So, half hours are nice that way. And, Arkin and Douglas are great in it. They really,
yeah, he's good.
And it's interesting to see what happens when Lurie, who is no longer constrained by network television standards, can kind of just do whatever the hell he wants to do.
Getting back to Titans, there's one more point I wanted to make, and just how Titans just seems to be aping Marvel Netflix and the fact that they want to get as much blood on the screen as possible because they can.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
And a couple of swear words, but I'm okay with that, obviously. But, yeah, it just seems like they just want to throw the gratuitous blood at us.
Notice they don't want to throw the gratuitous naked Starfire at us. But
she's rocking the cleavage a little bit, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, I just think it's amusing because it's like, lots of blood. How about naked Starfire? Nope, not gonna happen. No way. The other show I watched was from HBO, was Barry.
With Tom Hader?
With Bill Hader and...
Bill Hader, okay.
With Bill Hader and Henry Winkler, the Fonz.
Yeah, I got family members who watched it. They liked it a lot.
Again, it's a half-hour show, so got through it really fast over the weekend because it's only 8 episodes because they just started with it. So Bill Hader plays a hitman who they put a hit out on this actor, and he ends up in this acting class, and he's kind of tired of being a hitman, so now he wants to become an actor. And the real star of this whole thing is Henry Winkler. He plays the acting coach, and he's just amazing.
Yeah, he won the Emmy for it.
Did he win? Is that what it was? Was it an Emmy or was it a? Yeah, he was great. He's phenomenal in that thing. Really dark, really kind of dark. But I would say that's worth watching too. I would say I'd put it over Kominski Method, absolutely. So those two were good if you can get your hands on them. But okay. I know Ivan hasn't been watching anything lately.
Ivan, you been watching anything?
No, because last week was just too busy with too many things going. So
okay.
So,
I did see Discovery.
Okay, how was that?
It feels a little bit more like Star Trek than the last season. They're starting to get in their groove.
Mm-hmm.
It's like most season ones of a lot of the newer shows, you need to wait for the cast to finally find their niche, find the groove that they could sit in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's starting to do a little better, and I think they got an overriding arc. Like the first season of Discovery was about the Klingon War that Michael Burnham started, and now this one is about some vision or these signals coming from, and then obviously the relationship between Michael Burnham and her foster brother Spock. So anyway, it's doing good, and I think it was enjoyable.
Yeah. No, I know people, like I said, my biggest thing is I just don't feel like paying extra money to watch Star Trek. Which, by the way, is why I think the Orville's doing well. Is I think that it came out at an interesting time.
Yeah, they came kind of stumbling out of the gate the beginning of season 2, but episode 3 was good, and this last episode 4, it was just seemed like, this is Seth MacFarlane's fan fiction, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, that's without question. Especially when he keeps bringing in all kinds of whole cast members, whoever he feels like to.
Yeah. He's got his own little sandbox that he's playing in, and he's playing Star Trek in it, and we're okay with it. And it's good people. I talked about this last week. It's good characters builds, but it's all right. But there was just the story of last week's episode seemed like it was like, oh yeah, they did that on Star Trek. Oh yeah, and they did that on Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And they just recently did that on Star Trek. But I'm still digging it though.
It'd be kind of funny if they actually did that. It's like, wasn't that on Star Trek? No, that wasn't on Star Trek.
Yes, it was. Episode 3 of Deep Space Nine. Episode 4.
They should have a guy who does that. They should have like their comic book guy. See, that's the only problem. I wanted that show to be a little bit more funny than it was. Than it's been, and yeah,
it's just not comedy enough.
Yeah,
because everyone thought that, oh yeah, it's going to be Family Guy in space, but it's not. It's well.
So it has a familiar character premise, but not a familiar premise.
Well, I think keep in mind too, when they put out the original commercial trailers for it, they cut it to where it looked hysterical. I mean, like everybody was like, "Oh my God, if it's like this is the best show ever."
Yeah, but it has some funny moments. It's not just all about pratfalls and like what you'd see on Family Guy, that kind of humor.
Yeah, it just like it had a little bit more to it. Actually, it's interesting. You know what might actually fill that void that people thought it might be is the guys who did The Office and Steve Carell are apparently are in the process of creating for Netflix a kind of workplace comedy called Space Force, based on the Trump Space Force.
Yeah, I'm probably going to watch that too.
Yeah, that sounds
that could be funny.
That if they do it right, that could be really, really funny. I'm in for if they can make it really funny. Yeah, I'm totally in for that. So yeah, I'm with you. Ivan, you'll get kicked out of this. Guess who's having their 5th child at 60 years old?
Oh my gosh, who's having their 5th child at 60 years old?
Oh, despite having a vasectomy too.
What?
Oh no, who?
Nikki Sixx.
Nikki Sixx?
Yep.
Of Motley Crue?
Now he's Nikki 60.
Yeah, Nikki 60 is having one more. See, now the problem is
Nikki 60 is still getting sticky at his age, I'm telling you.
I guess so. The funny part is, the only thing that's bad about this story is you have Nikki 6, you have 60, but it's the 5th child. Where's the 6? Because one more 6 and then it would make it obvious.
Oh boy.
But then I don't know if anybody caught this. Apparently Jay-Z racked up a $74,000 bar tab.
What?
Where was this at?
Actually
at a bar, but where was it?
Whose bar?
And it's a nightclub in Inglewood called the Playroom.
In Chicago? Oh.
No, not that.
Not Inglewood? No, okay. I don't think they have a club down there.
Yeah, apparently they were there for somebody's Rock Nation sports president birthday, Juan Perez. I'm looking this. So we're just to give you an idea. Apparently that's 20 bottles of something called Ace of Spades Rose. That only cost $50,000.
Oh, is that all?
15 bottles of Ace of Spades Gold only cost $18,000.
Oh, only $18,000. Only $18,000.
So apparently, here's the part that we're all going to drool about. There is a gratuity of 15%, of 15% from the bar.
Okay. Did he meet that 15%?
Okay, so it's a $74,000 bill.
Okay.
What do we think? What do we think gratuity was?
Oh my gosh!
Any guesses?
No. Gratuity on that kind of money had to have been what, like 25%?
No, it's a 15% gratuity. But anyone want to guess what the number is?
Let's see.
Mike's gonna do the math.
Yep.
Okay, Ivan. Before Mike does the math, what do you think?
Let me see. Say, man, let's go with $10,000.
You're close.
14?
No, you're short a little bit. You're more a little bit. It came out to $11,100. That's
wow.
That's a tip.
Okay.
Crazy.
I could live on that. I could live on that kind of a tip. That's the kind of tip. That's the kind of tip we all need, I think.
No, that's good.
Yeah. No.
Was that 15%? That was 15%.
Yeah, that's 15%.
Okay.
The total bill with tip and tax, $91,000.
Wow. Crazy.
Well,
yeah.
I think Jay-Z can cover it.
Yeah, he definitely can cover it. That's
good on him. Contributing to the local. That's good.
Yeah, I just thought it was crazy. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of...
That's a lot of booze.
Yeah, that's
Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
They only had that Ace of Base only had that one hit.
I don't think that's what they meant by that. Well, okay, Mike.
Ace of Base. I know it's a stretch. Yeah.
Maybe they had... No, they would not have had Ace of Base there. No, probably.
Just serve out the Ace of Spades liquor.
Yeah. Well, like I said. So yeah, I guess, get this, I believe that's Jay-Z's own brand. I could be wrong.
Oh, that's why he served it all. Oh.
Well, then, but he paid full price. He didn't have to pay full price.
It's true. He's like, hey, this is my stuff. Give me a discount.
Give me. Yeah. Or I get a
discount. There wasn't like a progressive discount. Jay-Z discount. No, he can cover it.
Discount double check.
That's right. Yeah, Aaron will have plenty of time to do those discount double checks now.
Yeah, and so will Mahomes, and so will Drew Brees, and all of
I called it. I'm not watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'll wait till the trailers, we get any awesome trailers during the show. I'll watch them online, like immediately after.
Yeah.
What they'll do now is that they'll cut a 30-second spot and say, see the full trailer online.
Yeah. See it online.
Because we're only paying for 30 seconds here, chum.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, the commercials are like, they want you to go to the internets, where, of course, they'll just put it on the YouTubes anyway, so.
Right.
So, yeah, well, hopefully, maybe with Super Bowl, we'll get some cool trailers, and, of course, funny commercials, haha, but no, I'm not watching freaking Cheater McCheatriots.
Okay, so that I put this
Cheater McCheatriots? Is that what?
Yes.
The cheater, yeah, Bella Cheater.
That's right, and Tom Cheater, the quarterback,
AKA Darth Hoodie.
Yeah, the Great Deflator.
Mm-hmm.
The Great Deflator.
All right, Mike. I put this up on my Facebook page. I'm not getting very much comment on it, on my personal Facebook page.
Oh.
Okay?
All right, well, I guess we'll use this as your soundboard then.
Yeah, sure, why not? Because I want to hear from you guys. I don't know if Ivan's going to figure this out or not. Going to be able to give me a good enough take. Bill, New York, and I'm using these two individuals because when you give them prep time, nobody's better than either one of them. It is New England head coach Bill Belichick against Home Alone's Kevin McAllister.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Kevin's on his own turf. If he's defending his home,
maybe. But if Belichick's got tape of any of the Home Alone movies, he's done.
Yeah. If he's got like footage from spies, he can watch for trips and traps.
Plus, they're sneaky. They'll figure out a way to get cameras in the home, so that way there's no way that.
With drones now, yeah.
Yeah, no. You know what? I'm beginning to believe Kevin would lose to Belichick. I don't think Belichick loses. I don't think Belichick loses to Kevin, and that's scary. That means that means we're giving Bill Belichick 2 weeks to prep against the Rams, and it's like, that's not good.
I saw the Onion article that the Patriots scored 2 preemptive touchdowns on Saturday before the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't ever give Bill Belichick prep time. It's like, I think he really is like, if Kevin McAllister went evil, that's who Bill Belichick is.
Yeah, I watched the first half of the Rams-Saints game, and I missed that one awful call at the end.
I didn't. That's the one thing I saw of the whole game. Yeah. Is that play, and I'm like, where's the pass interference call? The best is he's standing there. The guy who hit him is sitting there like waiting for the flag to.
And they didn't throw the flag.
And he's like, really? Okay, I'm gonna leave now before something dumb happens. But there's some people who are
very upset.
Yeah, and I guess there's some calls in the late game too between the Chiefs and the Patriots where everybody's calling this. There's people who are calling this the tainted Super Bowl, but I don't know. I'll be honest. Like I said, I didn't watch much of either game, so I can't really do it. I do think it's pretty cool. Both games went to overtime. I think that's pretty amazing. With all that, considering, and I think it's funny because last week I was all excited because I was like, oh, these could be 4 really good. We got 4 really good games. No, we didn't. We didn't get 1 good game out of a lot of that stuff. It was horrible. Yeah.
So have fun with your Super Bowl. I'm not watching.
I don't know if I am either. And let me tell you why. Because last year I went and did something else, and then the Eagles beat the Patriots. So maybe I need to not watch so that the Patriots lose.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because because as a Colts fan, I can't stand those guys. I don't know who I hate more, the Patriots or the Packers.
Oh, Packers.
The Packers is like a birthright thing. What are you doing, man? R54?
Huh?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Any other things we can...
And of course, Sunday, the Shazam trailer dropped, and it looks fun. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I guess we can talk a little bit. So there's going to be a new Ghostbusters movie. There actually was a little bit of a teaser trailer, and
yes,
and apparently all of the
surviving Ghostbusters will
be in the movie. So that's now I'm under the impression that it's going to bridge to a new generation, which I think is cool. I do feel bad that the women from the 2016 movie are not going to be involved in some way, but I can see why.
What is that noise?
I mean, what are you doing?
What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm not doing anything.
I'm hearing a lot of background noise.
Stuff behind you, Ivan.
No, not me.
It's not on my end.
It's not. It's there.
Yeah?
Yeah. Is that it?
That's all kinds of weird noises.
Okay.
Weird noises.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can tell you why they're not going to involve anyone from the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot. It's because nobody liked it.
Yeah, I think that you think that. I know people who did like it, and I don't. And I guess Leslie Jones came out all fired on it. I haven't read what she said.
She's throwing politics into it, and it's bullshit. It's like, your movie sucked. I'm sorry. We're moving on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, this is where it's
in poor taste.
Well, here's the interesting part. Couldn't they just bring them in as new cast and forget that the 2016 movie ever happened? Because all three of those women are very talented. And, sure, why not?
Obviously, they sound like they're all still sporting a grudge over
just the one.
Well, that and the producer-director who has, from the get-go, said, and in fairness, there are some people who were very much about it being about it not being, about it being an all-female cast and all that stuff, and those people can go shove it. But I watched the movie; it was bad. But I know people who had kids, and I know people who liked that movie, and I'm so shocked. But it's interesting because they had kids and they had girls, and they loved that movie. And it's funny because the Rotten Tomatoes number on it is quite shocking to me. It's at like 74%, which is crazy because I don't understand how anybody. I mean, I wanted to poke my eyes out with a fork.
Well, we know like how we all might have a movie that we watched as a little kid that we absolutely loved, but then we'll go back and watch it as an adult, and it sucked.
It doesn't have the same feel anymore?
No, it's just bad. It was just overall a really bad film. Mine was Explorers with River Phoenix.
Okay.
I liked that movie as a little kid, but now I watch it now. It's like, oh god, that's garbage.
So it's not a movie, but I'll never forget the first time. It had been probably 20 years since I had seen Super Friends.
Oh, the old Super Friends cartoon?
Super Friends cartoons. And you're like, why did I think it's like, oh my god.
Now, is this the old one with the couple and the dog, or is it the one with the Wonder Twins? Because there was an old one, I think, like a Ted Knight was kind of the narrated.
Yeah, that one.
Later at the Hall of Justice.
Yes, that one.
Are you talking about the one with Marvin the Wonder Dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, and then even the Legion of Doom.
Oh yeah, the Challenge of the Super Friends. That was the one where he had the Darth Vader headquarters for the bad guys.
The thing that looked like the Black Manta head. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looked kind of like more of a Darth Vader kind of head.
Okay. Where they go, meanwhile at the Legion of Doom.
That's right.
Those two, it's funny, they don't show. Like when they used to do it on Cartoon Network, they didn't show some of the ones where it was, the ones after that, where they did all the kind of interesting stuff, where it was like, where it was like a lot of the Wonder Twins run. I don't remember seeing a lot of those. And then they definitely don't do, what is it? It's the one after that, the one at the end where they brought in Firestorm and Cyborg.
Oh, the Superpowers team.
Superpowers. They definitely show that on Cartoon Network, which is weird. I don't know why. But yeah. I
remember because they had Darkseid in that a lot in Superpowers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, he is the main bad guy. And he wasn't in like the earlier ones with the Hall of Doom.
Legion of Doom? Yeah.
Yeah, Legion of Doom, that was all like Lex Luthor and his gang.
Well, and it's interesting because of who wasn't in there, because the one Batman villain you get is the Riddler, you don't get the Joker. So, yeah.
I don't even think Penguin. I think you're right. I think the Riddler was the only one from Batman's Rogues Gallery that was on the Challenge of the Super Friends. Because there were 13. I remember there were 13 supervillains in the Legion of Doom.
Interesting.
We got like several from Superman's. We got Solomon Grundy. We got Bizarro. Of course, obviously Luthor.
There, I pulled up a list.
Okay.
Yeah, there's only one Batman. Well, no, that's wrong. There is
Toyman.
No, Toyman's Superman, but Scarecrow is Batman.
Scarecrow is Batman.
Okay, so it's funny because they actually list the traditional enemies. This is kind of interesting. All right, so Bizarro, obviously Superman.
Me, Bizarro, me, stop Super Friends.
Yeah, and then Black Manta, which is
Yeah, obviously Aquaman, yeah.
I didn't remember that Brainiac was part of the Super Friends.
I remember that one, yeah. Because he had those tiny pants.
Okay. Captain Cold, which is obviously the Flash.
Yeah,
It's funny, Cheetah is listed here for Wonder Woman. Here's the interesting one. Giganta.
She was a foil for Apache Chief.
Right, but really she's a Wonder Woman villain.
Yeah.
And it's funny, in recent years they've brought her back to being a Wonder Woman villain.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that they've gone that. Obviously Grodd.
Yeah, Gorilla Grodd, yeah.
And then Lex Luthor, the Riddler, Scarecrow, Sinestro.
Yeah, for Green Lantern.
Solomon Grundy,
Yep.
and the Toy Man. So, yeah, those are...
The Legion of Doom. Yep, awesome.
There they are. So, yeah.
But, yeah, there were some convoluted stories, like, let's travel back in time to the Gold Rush or something like that. I remember one stupid
Or the one
episode.
where they traveled back in time. They went and traveled back in time, and they made it so there was no... Who was it? It was no Superman, no Wonder Woman, and then
no Green Lantern.
No Green Lantern, sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, they ceased to exist. They changed they changed the trajectory of young baby Kal-El's rocket, so he never came to Earth.
Right. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. There were some pretty stupid episodes of that show.
Yeah.
What about you, Ivan? What movie or TV show do you watch as a little kid that you simply cannot watch today because it's just so bad, but you loved it as a kid?
Let's see. Well, the Spider-Mans I watched as a kid, I can't watch those now.
Those. Yeah, those. Where it's the same song and the same web swinging the entire time. Yeah, those.
Yeah, the ones that's like more of a moving comic book than a...
Yeah, the 60s Spider-Man.
Let me see, what else? I did, you laugh. There used to be a series called The Super Six. Have you ever heard of it? Probably not, but...
Yeah, you bought the DVD. We've talked about it before.
Yeah, well, and I remembered it being interesting when I was a kid and everything. And I looked at it now, and it's just more funny than practical. And then and of all the characters, and all the recurring characters, they kept concentrating on only a couple of them throughout the course of the series. It was pretty crazy. Let me see. What can I watch? I mean, Johnny Quest, it was okay, but now it's kind of like, seems very contrived now. Let's see. Inspector Gadget. Let's see. Movies? I mean, it's kind of hard to say, really, to be honest with you, because, there are very few movies that I see from then now and still say, oh man, that was kind of stupid. The Incredible Two-Headed Monster. There we go. With Rosie Greer.
That
sounds
amazing. That sounds incredible.
Yeah, well, when I saw that in the theater I saw that in the theater at the Century Theater. It was a double bill with a cheesy war movie called The Invincible Six, and it was and then it was just kind of like, it was weird. Then I look at it now and I'm just like, I actually spent money to see this thing, because it was a white person's head on a black person's body, and it was just going around.
What?
Going around terrorizing people. Go ahead, Google it.
That's not even... I don't want to Google it. No, you can't make me. You can't make me Google that. We were talking about movies where it's like the worst movie ever.
Well, it was good. I thought it was kind of creepy when I first saw it, but now I'm looking at it now, I'm just like, what the fuck? Here, let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
No, I don't think we need to know anymore. I think we're good.
Why? I never get to Google anything.
We'll find Google it, but I don't know that I care.
So maybe the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot is some child's favorite film that they'll watch as a kid, and then 20 years from now, they'll play it on whatever device we're using in 20 years, and they'll realize that it was garbage.
Well,
and they'll watch the 1984 one instead.
You know what? You could bring them back easy. And you just do the Lucas thing, where at the end, you now put in a cutaway where they all wake up, and it's like, there's like the originals there, and it's like, oh, it was all just a dream, or something like that, And then you just could use the other ones and bring them back in that way or something. I don't know. It just...
It's be sad that we don't have Harold Ramis anymore then.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I made a mistake. My bad. It was called The Incredible Two-Headed Transplant. That's what that was.
The Incredible Two-Headed Last Starfighter?
Yep.
The Incredible Two-Headed Transplant.
Incredible Two-Headed Last Starfire Dragon.
Transplant. Monster.
Yes. That's the name of our episode, isn't it?
Oh, that's too long.
Oh, yeah. and we can't use clusterfuck for obvious reasons.
So, how was your week, Jeff? You said you just watched some shows, so.
I watched a couple of things, you know, when the weather goes to crap like that on the weekend, there's just not much you can do.
Yeah, we only got about 5 inches last weekend, and then it got super cold last night.
That's a little less than Vanilla Ice's pipe. Got it.
Well, it got real snowy out this way, and it just was like blowing snow and such. And we stayed in pretty much most of the weekend. With the exception of Sunday, which I had to go do my set. But then right after my set, I just came straight home. I was like, I ain't going out in this. I mean, by the time I came out, it was cold.
Were a lot of people at Logan for your set?
Yeah. I mean, I walked in and there was a bunch of them, but they were all like in the back room. You know, you had the Killer Queen crew doing their thing out back there and all their friends. But then as soon as I started playing, they all migrate to the front to eat or to take a break or to have some drinks. And then more people from the outside kept showing up. And it was pretty full by the time I left at 5 o'clock. So it was good.
Okay.
That's good. Well, yeah, like I said, you know what's crazy? I went to the grocery store on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Snowpocalypse.
Snowpocalypse.
Oh my god!
You'd think we never got snow before.
Minds driving.
Yeah.
Forget out of your minds driving. The people with the carts all over the place.
They think that the store will be closed for months. Because we're getting 5 inches of snow.
It's not that. It's just the way they explain it sometimes. And you know how Chicago roads can get after a while. It's just like, get your stuff, get it now. God forbid you get stuck and there's no food. What are you doing? You know, that's what it comes down to. That's always what it is. And it's like, nobody trusts until Friday and they're like, I'll buy it now. And then every store is like insane.
Yeah, you should have seen people driving. I got done with Mather's Cafe, and Julie and I were driving home, and people were just like cutting people off and laying on the horn, and it was like the end of the world was happening. Everybody was driving like maniacs everywhere.
That's because everyone's got those big, huge those huge 4-wheelers, and it's like I can drive through anything. I love it when those people get stuck in a snowbank or something because it's like.
Right, a lot of people just forget to drive. They forget how.
Yeah.
When it snows.
Yeah, no, they.
I heard to go no place quick.
I have some time Thursday mornings to do my grocery shopping before I go to work. My Thursday's my late night, and yeah, even Thursday night the store was getting kind of crazy because the snow's coming. Oh, we could get up to 8 inches. Like, yeah, it snowed last year, and we're all still alive. Wow.
Yeah, I kept. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You make your blizzard French toast because everyone's grabbing milk and eggs and bread. So go home and make your blizzard French toast.
I had one lady over at Mather's kept looking out the window. Says it's going to start at 3. It's going to start at 3. It's going to start at 3. 3 o'clock comes. There's these flakes, and I kept looking. I'm like, yeah. Just like I keep saying all the time, meteorologists are the best paid liars in the business.
You know.
The technology is getting better where they can predict within the hour when things start to go. But they still don't know. To some degree, it's still kind of guesswork. So we're in the middle of winter and it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't believe that the month is almost over.
I know. We got less than 2 weeks of January already. This year is just
Yes, then I must start my new hashtag campaign.
What's that?
What is that?
Hashtag the War on February.
War on February. Why is there a war on February?
Because you know what happens in February. You know
Valentine's
like
Day.
Chicago in February.
Valentine's Day.
Forget Valentine's Day. Every day is like, okay, now it's going to be really cold, followed by a whole bunch of snow, followed by more ridiculous cold, followed by more snow, and you don't see the sun for like 13 straight days. And it's like...
The days aren't getting longer, though.
Yeah, but like in February usually is those days where it's nasty enough where it's like there's no sun. It's like, where are we? What's going on? Get me out.
There's no sunshine when it's gone. There are just clouds here every day. There's no sunshine when it's gone. And it's always dark so long. Anytime the sun goes away.
More like black hole sun. It's all gone. Yeah. No, I don't know. I have.
I was coming home from a friend's house after we watched Discovery and Titans, and it was about 10 o'clock on Friday night, and the main road down the town was pretty bad because the plows hadn't come through. Mm-hmm. And of course, I don't have to worry, but coming down that hill was a little scary, even with 4-wheel drive. March will get here soon.
Not soon enough.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't wait till April.
Yeah, it's my birthday month.
That's right.
Is it time, gentlemen?
Yeah, sure. It is time.
That time?
Time for the goofy news.
We'll start slow this week. I'm rationing out some of these. Apparently, he spent 10 years alone. Now Romeo, the world's loneliest frog, may have finally found a Juliet that can save his species. Apparently, I'm going to butcher this, some sort of water frog who's been alone and single for the last 10 years, housed in a museum in Bolivia, the last of his kind.
They found a female.
Apparently, they found a girl they've called Juliet, and they're creating a blind date. Apparently, they gave this critter a Match.com profile for them. Boy, there you go. How would you like to get that? It's like, I've been matched up to a frog. What the freaking...
Sounds like the plot to Rio.
or an Adam Sandler movie.
So, yeah, apparently they're setting up a frog on a blind... Okay, this is dumb. Next.
Okay, well, at least they can propagate species.
Yeah, it's the species. Propagate the species.
Right. Get busy. You're the only two left.
Yeah, get busy.
Put them on an ark.
Rub it. Rub it. Rub it.
Oh,
rub it.
Come on.
Rub it.
I don't get it.
Rub it.
Good you don't get it.
All right.
An escape rodeo clown.
Start again, Jeff.
An escape rodeo cow is on the lam in an Alaskan wild, and no one can catch her. The owner has tried hay, salt blocks, and even drones to capture his ghost in the darkness.
So it's like the cow fugitive, like Harrison Ford.
The elusive cow escaped from the rodeo in Anchorage 6 months ago and has been living her very best cow life in the Alaskan wilderness ever since, despite multiple attempts to capture her. Betsy, a wily 3-year-old, has dodged all her owner's efforts, includes enlisting a local bike community, foot searches in the rain, leaving out barrels of hay and salt blocks to find her, and even having the police track her with drones. Yeah, it's almost like the cow can smile the bull from a mile away and evade seizure every time.
Sounds like we got to get Tommy Lee Jones on this case.
Yeah, seriously. Or here's a thought: maybe she just doesn't love you. I mean, seriously.
Born free.
That's I mean, really, in reality, when you stop and think about it, we're talking about the fact that we're talking about a cow in the Alaskan wilderness. You know what that is to most of the things in the Alaskan wilderness? Lunch.
Yeah. Okay. For the polar bears and stuff.
Right, for like a whole bunch of things, that's lunch. That's good eating right there. So yeah, I don't know, you must not like it. Here's one, I think this will work a little bit better. Frosty had the last laugh. Vandal tries to run over a giant snowman. Instead,
oh, I've seen this.
Instead, he hit a tree stump.
Oh, you see on the tracks? What's left of the snowman and this big ass trunk.
This happened in Petersburg, Kentucky. Now, I'm gonna make this point. Back in the day, when we used to do the radio show, the AM Mayhem show, you know, Mike, everybody talks about it's usually Ohio or Florida. Every time we...
Are you okay, Ivan?
Yeah,
I'm fine.
Breathe, Ivan.
Everybody...
Stay with us.
Everybody talks about Florida and Ohio. All I know is whenever we used to do the old Weird News bit on the show back in the day, everything wacky always happened in Kentucky. Everything. Some idiot would shoot himself in the head.
One of my favorite ones from that was the couple that were making love on the balcony and they rolled off.
Yeah, because Ivan added sound effects. It was, oh! And he added it in with me not realizing that he had added it in, and we played it back later. I think we couldn't stop laughing. I think. Anyway, it would be Vandal was stumped. Oh god, that's horrible.
Oh.
After they tried to run over a 9-foot snowman in Kentucky, only to find it had been built over a large tree stump.
Just in case if its bark is worse than its bite.
Yeah. Cody Lutz and his fiance and his soon-to-be sister-in-law made the oversized snowman while enjoying the winter weather. Elated, and the fiance's sister was elated to experience the biggest snowfall she's ever seen. They decided to use the tree stump as a base for the snowman. Now, the real question is, why did someone decided to
not run the snowman over with their car?
Right. Apparently someone decided this was fun.
Because they're stupid.
And now the massive stump is exposed with a snowy imprint of a bumper stuck to it. Which the thing is, here's the thing: we don't have anything about what the car looks like.
The article didn't state what kind of car they tried to.
No, nothing about the car. How the car looked afterwards.
Because I'm sure somebody paid their money to say, "Damn, that was stupid. Please keep that out of the paper. I'll pay whatever I got to."
I don't know, man. Where the hell's Petersburg? They can't be that smart.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I'm looking at this and it's like, then like the second picture, the picture where it exposes the stump. I mean,
yeah.
if they had hit that, I mean, how fast was he going? Because if he was going pretty fast, this should look a lot uglier than this. You know, like his.
I don't know. I part of me kind of suspects it's a setup, but you know, when you look at it, I mean, the tire treads when you see it in front of the stump, I mean, it doesn't look like they're going in very deep. So I don't think he was going all that fast.
You know what really happened? Frosty said, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's the part.
Ivan, you all right, man?
Yeah, Ivan's dying today, apparently.
Don't.
Ivan, don't die. Maybe
that's the first rule.
Nothing.
First rule of podcasting: don't die.
Yeah, don't. Well, that's the ratings for the show.
No, I'm not going to make podcast history by keeling over on a podcast.
I'm sure it's happened before. Not on our show, though.
Well, there's been history of people offing themselves on television, which, It's been known to happen.
Ivan, you die on this podcast, I'll kill you.
There we go. Can that be the name of the show? This podcast, I'll kill you. Okay. Wait, I gotta wait for Ivan to see if he survives because I know he's gonna laugh at this.
He's taking care of business. He's helping to, hopefully, maybe he's got some kind of coughing fit or something. Hopefully he's not getting sick or something.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I had a couple of coworkers calling sick last week. It's just because the cold weather hits, and that's it.
Just remember, mixture of gods. All right. Man hospitalized after injecting his own semen to treat back pain. Here's the tag. The worst is the tagline. Doctors in Ireland didn't see this coming.
Oh.
Wow. That's okay. Anyway, a new study published in the Irish Medical Journal recounts the case of a 33-year-old man who was hospitalized after repeatedly injecting himself with semen to relieve chronic back pain. This case was first reported in a case study called Seemingly Harmless Back Pain, an unusual presentation of I can't even pronounce that. Subcutaneous abscess. The man's
subcutaneous. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Under the skin. That's pretty much what it means.
The man's handmade remedy was reportedly discovered when he showed up at the doctor's office complaining about severe back pain. While examining the patient, the physician noticed the right arm appeared to be swollen and inflamed. The man gave the doctor a lot, what he never expected, that apparently it was an innovative way to treat back pain, and he had devised the cure independent of any medical advice.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and shoot some sperm in my arm to take care of my back. Yeah.
I told you we're going to come back. So apparently that just creates huge. So basically, the way I'm understanding this is basically it created a bacterial virus that he was basically shooting into his body. Good job.
Oh yeah. Let's just go ahead and just let's take the literal phrase of physician heal thyself, literally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And this was in Ireland. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably self-medicating with the alcohol too. In Virginia, a man uses a flamethrower to clear driveway of snow.
Excellent.
Southwest Virginia man got a little overzealous. After a most recent snowstorm, he decided to leave his shovel in the garage and use his flamethrower to melt the snow instead. He hates shoveling, so after reading an ad in a magazine about a blowtorch, which it advertised its usefulness clearing snow, he decided to try it out. He bought one after researching state and local laws and consulting with local officials.
Spaceballs the flamethrower.
He said the flamethrower worked like a charm, but emphasized importance using the device safely. Make sure there are no flammables nearby. Make sure it's only what you want to burn, and make sure afterward hang out for a half an hour to make sure nothing reignites.
Well, you're going to use the flamethrower, and it all melts, and then you go inside, and it just all refreezes, and you got some ice.
Yep.
Or then you've got overexpansion of the asphalt. So this is actually a very bad idea.
As I mentioned this to a friend, they mentioned, and I'm looking at this, if this is asphalt...
Doesn't it have oil in it?
Doesn't it have oil in it?
Yeah, that oil doesn't burn like the same way like gas does.
Oh, I thought you said it the same way ass does. I'm like, what?
Gasoline, not ass.
Yeah. Not ass.
On your ass.
Not Assoline. Got it. Okay.
Assoline. I think that's our title this week.
Okay. Yeah. In fairness, it still would be fun. Could you imagine the look of people's reaction? And if you were with us living in a big city like Chicago,
yeah.
Hey, and walk outside and just start using a flamethrower.
Burn, baby, burn. Take up the asphalt, burn.
It's like the old George Carlin skit. Like somebody had to invent that. The guy's standing there and says, "Boy, I'd really like to set those people on fire over there, but I'm too far away to get the job done." So then he invented it, and then the army shows up and says, "Could you make 5,000 of those, please?"
Yes, that would be a great idea.
And you could please paint them dark brown. We don't want anyone to see them.
Later on in life, we don't have to do that because all we need is a lighter and an aerosol can.
That's right. We got our
go.
Can of WD-40 or whatever.
Yeah, or hairspray for women.
Right.
Oh, just drink 100 proof. Just drink something 100 proof, and then take a lighter and blow out from your mouth. Fireball, fireball.
Yeah. Then there's the other method, which I don't recommend at all, which is
lighting flatulence.
Yes.
The flatulent crusader.
There's your real Assoline right there.
Yeah, there. They decided they wanted to try to do that, and we all kind of looked at them like, okay. Because we all heard the stories that it basically can backfire right into you. It's like, nope, not doing that. We'll switch off the Assoline. Dog accidentally runs half marathon after being let out to pee. He finished 7th. Imagine training for months and months for a 13.5 mile marathon and being beaten by Ludenvin, the 2.5-year-old bloodhound. This is what happened at the Elkmont Trackless Train Half Marathon in Canada, where a hound decided to join the fun after he'd been let out for a wee-wee. He crawled under the garden fence and ran towards the start line, and the rest is kind of history. Apparently he finished 7th and even stopped at the 2-mile point to sniff a dead rabbit. I believe the dog went off track on numerous occasions, including the moment he played with a herd of cows. This actually happened. That didn't stop him from securing a respectable position, crossing the line just in an hour and a half. So,
it's a dog day.
The dog was given a medal for their efforts as the owner described the moment following her impressive finish. All I did was, this is the best, all I did was open the door and she ran the race on her own accord.
Wait, the dog got a medal?
Yeah.
Wow, not even Chewbacca got a medal, so congratulations to that dog.
There you go.
Here's more quotes from the owner. My first reaction that I was embarrassed and worried that she'd possibly gotten in the way of other runners. She's laid back and friendly, so I can't believe she ran the whole marathon because she's actually really lazy.
Well,
John Clemens, who finished 4th in the half marathon, said every time I thought she had dropped off back to go home, I would hear her coming up back behind me, and she would race past me up to the 2 leaders, and then she would run off through the streams into the yard to sniff for a while.
Wow.
So, okay, well, that's
kudos to the pooch. Kudos to the pooch.
What's crazy about this, Mike, is we're not talking about, like, the kind of dog that you'd sit there and go, okay, they might want to run a race. We're talking about a bloodhound.
Well, you figure that bloodhounds are inherently, they got a very sensitive nose. I mean, only knows, who knows what.
Who knows?
Yeah.
What knows?
Exactly, who knows what he might have been looking for that led him to that. I mean, they are distance runners, bloodhounds. I mean, weren't bloodhounds part of the sheriff's, sensibility back in the days when they were looking for criminals?
Maybe. There's always that stuff that you see on TV back in the day, but I guess, I don't know. I mean, now it seems like they all just use, like, German Shepherds and crap like that.
I think that's interesting, though, that our dog friend did his groovy thing,
Yeah, no, that's amazing. How would you like to feel that you lost to a dog?
Huh?
How would you like to be the person who lost to the dog?
Oh my gosh.
Actually. Alright. It's funny. We had a really good week last week, and it seems like we're petering out. All right, let's get this moving this week. I think this story will help. Women arrested for trying out dozens of sex toys in the middle of a Walmart store.
Another Walmart story. Oh
okay, now here's my thing. Which Walmart store in the blazes sells sex toys?
Or she bring them in, and then she just decided to go to town.
Oh, apparently Walmart sells them. I didn't realize this either. Union City, California, a woman was arrested this morning after stripping almost naked in a Walmart store to test various sex toys in front of dozens of shocked customers.
Oh, Jesus.
Although she might have been screaming his name at one point. Upon arriving on the site, the officers found 27-year-old Laura Martinez lying almost naked on the floor, masturbating with a vibrator.
Oh boy!
No, I don't think she said "oh boy." I think she said "oh god."
I think at least she wasn't injecting any fluids afterward to help her back pain.
Yeah.
The countess is coming. The ballroom is hunting, awaiting her grand return.
According to an employee who witnessed the incident, she had used at least 24 different types of toys before she was arrested, and that this employee will be haunted by the images and sounds which she was exposed to. There's some quotes here.
Did you find the one she wanted?
I don't think she did because she went to jail. And there's some quotes here that, like, quote, "It is the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life. That fat lady just dropped her pants and started testing every dildo and vibrator we have in front of everybody." Another quote. "The worst part was her moaning and screaming. It was disgusting. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have nightmares about it." Now, in fairness, I am looking at okay, so I can see the pictures of these people, and the woman that we're looking at, okay, yeah, she's not going to win a beauty contest, but I'm going to tell you right now, the person who's talking about she's going to have nightmares, maybe she needs to consider what she would look like doing that, but...
Or the fact she's just jealous because it wasn't her that was doing that.
So the woman in question now faces a total of 7 criminal charges, including felony, indecent exposure, causing a public nuisance, and disorderly conduct. She was freed on bail in less than 2 hours after arrest and expected to be back in court in November for the beginning of her trial.
There's a trial? It's going to go to a trial?
Apparently she's got a lawyer.
How do you plead? Not guilty. What?
Wait, here's
not guilty by
How do you have to be the Walmart security guy who has to pull that security footage for the court? It's like, duh, do I have to?
So her lawyer...
Really? I mean, I already watched it happen on my monitor. Do I really got to do this? You know there's a gag reel floating around now.
Wait. You ready to hear what the lawyer had to say? You guys are going to love this.
Okay.
He described the charges as excessive and unjustified. He's convinced of her innocence. According to him, the young woman did not intend to attract attention to her genitals, but was just testing the merchandise with clear intent of buying some of the products.
Oh, bullshit!
She's just window shopping.
Get out of here!
Window shopping at that point. I think she was icing the windows.
I think this one works.
So here's the question: which Walmart story is worse, this one or the one last week?
I think last week was more fun about the Pringles can with the wine in it.
Yeah, the Pringles cans with the booze was more fun.
Yeah.
This thing is just downright disgusting.
No, because here's the thing: if you stop and think about it, this woman did this all wrong. What she should have done was got naked on that stupid little ride around thing, and that vibrates enough. And if she had enough wine, she wouldn't have needed anything else.
Well, you know, if the woman was going to sit there and experiment with all that product, she should have gone to one of the dressing rooms. At least it would have been less conspicuous there.
Right, but I don't think there's any outlets in those rooms, though. You can't plug stuff in.
Yeah, I don't know that I really would ever look to see if there was.
You have to go to the hardware section and get an extension cord and have it laid into the fitting room.
Go ahead and get a run of power strips. You can run several at a time.
I like that. The lady next to her in the stall, she's trying on a blouse or something, and they're hearing in the next room.
Can you imagine? No, this one's too noisy. This one's too slow. This one ain't starting.
Right.
This one exploded.
This one's just right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This reminds me of a thing I saw on Facebook. Can I drill this in just for a second?
Sure, we got a minute.
Okay. I was wormholing on Facebook the other many nights ago, and there was this lady. She's got a vape in one hand, and she's got this contraption in the other hand. Obviously, she looks like a working girl for many, many, many years that has not aged well. She's got like this size 44 bosom, but just everything else like defying the law of gravity and everything. She's like complaining that she had bought a product where it was an alarm clock that attached to the lips of her vagina. And when it was to go off, it was supposed to give a soothing sensation. Instead, it had shorted out and exploded.
Oh my God! Did she get hurt?
Oh, she got a bit of a shock, but then the thing about it was she ended up vaping and then ended up going on Facebook complaining that the product was defective, going on saying, "You don't want to have this product because I almost burned off my business and it gave my sunny side a tan, and this thing's a piece of crap. You know, I bought this thing online and I did what it told me to. I did what it told me to do, and this thing. I mean, she just went on this whole rant, and I'm just like, why would you go ahead and attach electrical product to some part of your body, and where it's moist, and not have it shock you? I mean, it just doesn't make any kind of sense. It just. It was incredible. It is out there. It is out there.
The truth is out there.
The truth is out there.
Yes. I have a couple more, and then we'll get out of here.
Lay on me.
Okay. This is somewhat funny, yet somewhat very sad.
Okay.
A mother arrested for leaving her children in the car for 9 hours while at an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Oh, boy.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, just one, please, for the buffet.
Yeah, don't mind me. I mean, my kids, I'm not going to bother with them. They're in the car.
Yeah,
he left 4 children ages 1 to 7 years old in the car for more than 9 hours while she was.
That's sick.
Now, I guess here's the part where I get frustrated as a fat person. Does it really matter that she was 400 pounds? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I weigh more than that, and I am not dumb enough to leave my kids in the car for 9 hours just because I gotta go to the Golden Corral buffet in Krill.
I've been to Golden Corrals in the past, and they're people, the clientele that go to the Golden Corral, they know how to eat, and some of them you need to stay out of their way.
Yep.
I mean, you have to stay out of the way of their mouths and their hands. I mean, it's just like
keep your fingers and toes clear of that person.
You know what? Hey, let me tell you something. Yeah, you're absolutely right. At some place like that, absolutely. And I am probably guilty as being one of them. But I'm also not dumb enough to go, let me leave my kids in the 9 hours.
Yeah, obviously not fit to be a parent. Yeah.
No.
Hours.
No, that is beyond cruel.
Whoever wrote the article, I don't know why they decided to put the weight of the culprit in the article, but
the part that kills me is it's like, okay, like when I was in college, I'd pull that because, okay, I'd bring books and I'd use it to study and I'd stay, and I'd stay a long amount of time. I don't see anything here where anything says that. This woman started at 11 a.m. and was there till 8:20 in the evening.
She closed the place out. Literally closed the place out.
The Chinese guy from the Fat Boys movie didn't show up and go, you don't eat, no, come in here no more. From now on, only carry out.
Reminds me of the Titans movie where Cyborg kept going in and kept eating and he kept eating everything that the cook kept throwing at him and everything. It was just like, I'll eat it all.
You saw the Teen Titans go to the movies?
No, not go to the movies. No, this was the Teen Titans movie. This was after the initial series was out on television. Okay. And then they made one movie, and
I didn't know they made a movie.
The one where they go to Japan or something, right?
When they go to Japan, right? Where
I didn't see that one.
Where Beast Boy wanted to go to the anime museum, the manga museum, and this is where it's where Robin and Starfire start getting real close.
Right. No. But yeah, so basically, he was there.
And Cyborg is eating everything in sight.
I mean, here's the thing. All you can eat buffet, absolutely. It's no holds barred at that point. But
right.
Not like this. I do have
not with your kids in the car. No. That's almost like that's the same as leaving your dog in the car.
Yeah.
And all the other shit. And that in some states it's legal to break the windows now. As long as you take a picture of you breaking the window and then you put the license plate number down, you report it that you're breaking the person's window because the dog is suffering inside. In some states that's legal now.
Okay. Well, like I said,
all I'm saying is, you know what? Had I seen those kids in that car, you'd be damn sure I'm going to be breaking a window and have a girl come at me and see what I do.
I don't think she would. She'd be busy getting mac and cheese.
Yeah, and all points in between. I mean, I'm a big guy too, and everything, but I know where my priorities are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I think the funniest part to me is this reminds me of a story. A buddy of mine told me, who was in a frat at Illinois, and they would do this once in a while where they would go like to the Ponderosa when they had the all you can eat.
Yeah.
And what they would do, because they would come in as a whole house, and what they would do is they would go to the bar, and they would take a plate, and then they would take one item and then go back.
Oh my gosh.
And they kept doing it all night until finally the manager walked over and were like, "We're running out of clean plates." One item. Because we're running out of plates, we can't wash them fast enough at the speed you guys are doing that. Like I said, well, that was not nearly.
That was funnier in this story. Yeah, that bitch needs to go to jail.
Yeah, that girl needs to go to jail. Yeah.
Well, duh. I believe there's my great response. Yeah. Blah blah. There you go. Yeah. I'm telling you, this is not to be unexpected. We had a really good week last week, so of course this week is going to be like.
Yeah, last week was a landslide, man. This week.
Last week was a landslide. I knew this week was going to be ugly. I knew this week was going to be ugly. Man proposes in court to girlfriend accused of stabbing him 13 times.
What?
I still love you.
Come on!
Hold on a second. This makes more sense.
Stabbing.
Stockholm Syndrome, anyone?
No, we're close.
Anybody for some Harry Carey?
Hey, holy cow. Well, it didn't happen in Stockholm. It happened in Russia. That makes me think this makes a little more sense. Come over here, stick me, kid. A Russian man begged a judge to let his girlfriend go free after she'd stabbed him 13 times, almost killing him. He wanted her to be so they could get married.
Oh my gosh!
As she faced the judge to be sentenced, he apparently proposed to the woman and begged the judge for leniency. The judge supposedly reportedly postponed sentencing. They're not saying much more than that. I guess this will be to be continued.
Maybe it's a masochism thing.
I guess.
He digs it.
I guess. We do. The masochism tango.
The way it is, sex has got to be phenomenal.
You know,
That's gotta be phenomenal. I mean,
let me see the taste of your lips, dear, while I feel the taste of your whips, dear. Won't you bash in my head and tell me what you said as we do the masochism tango?
Ivan is like in a total singing mood today.
Yeah.
Everything's about singing for Ivan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's rap, he's
He's
tango, he's...
All right.
Ivan's greatest shits.
Yeah, well, that might be the name of, well, no. We're going with we're going with Assoline, whatever it was.
Assoline.
United Airline pilots and United Airline, well, let me try that again.
Take 3.
United Airline pilot and co-pilot fired for having loud sex together during flight.
Okay.
United Airlines fired 2 employees after allegedly engaging in sexual intercourse in mid-flight while the plane's internal communication system was on.
Attention passengers, this is your captain speaking. I'm gonna go down on the co-pilot now. In the Walmart.
Yes, and it is 2 guys.
Ew,
okay.
Shit.
Hey, man, you find love in this day and age.
Mile High Club.
To quote passenger...
Mile High Club.
Let me try this again. 51-year-old passenger Betty Garrison. At first we heard strange sounds and thought someone had entered the cockpit and was wrestling the pilots. But then it became clearer, and we heard stuff like, "Fuck me harder, daddy," and other disgusting apparently the flight attendants rapidly ran to the cockpit. He said,
"Why they call it a cockpit?"
That's the place where they fly the plane. I get it.
I get it.
Apparently they ran to the cockpit to warn the pilots, but they were ignored and continued for several minutes before finally answering the door. Quote, "We could clearly hear the poor girls yelling and banging on the door and the 2 men complaining about it while they were continuing to have sex." Apparently there were over 30 passengers who filed complaints. Obviously not into gay porn.
No.
Yeah, here's the real thing. What if there was, you gotta figure there had to be one guy, okay? One guy, or at least one guy in there who was like sitting there and like, this sounds kind of hot. Anybody looking around? Okay, blanket, check. Let's go. I mean, you gotta figure, here's the interesting part. You think any of, like, if there were any, like, well, no, probably not. But,
yeah, but you hear stories about the Mile High Club where, you got, certain individuals going into the bathrooms and doing such things.
Well, don't turn on the speaker.
Yeah, don't turn on the speaker.
Don't turn on the speaker. Because I get the impression they probably had done that before. They just had turned on the speaker.
Uh-huh.
And well, you get the point. Well, actually, one of them got the point for sure. I just don't know which one. All right.
Well, they both got it in the end.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man. I love how Mike is silent.
That just won't fly in this day and age.
No, it won't.
No. I guess he earned his wings.
What, were they going full throttle?
Someone did a nosedive.
Get ready for takeoff.
They put on automatic pilot.
Prepare for landing. Make sure all your tray tables are in upright position.
After their flight, were there skid marks in any places?
Oh. So that leads us to our final story of the day, believe it or not. Apparently there's a new fashion trend for women. Fake camel toe underwear.
Oh, boy.
Women are wearing underwear to make it look like they have a camel toe.
See, wow.
Okay.
All we had was just a sock. We'd put the sock in the jeans.
Yeah,
now
we all
girls got that too.
Yeah, all right. I mean, they all wanted equality.
And it has that vertical crease in the middle.
There we go. We put a sock in our underwear to show off our meat. Now girls are putting their camel toe just to show off their cleat.
Yeah, apparently. Well, yeah, there's pictures of this stuff, and it's funny because it comes in all kinds of colors. Of course.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Why colors?
Well,
what difference does it make?
Well, no.
Well, you can't wear like a white dress and have like a black one on.
Right, exactly.
Otherwise it's gonna show.
Right. That would be funny. That would be funny. You know, there's somebody who's done it once.
Or you get these women in their yoga pants and everything, and then they wear one that the color is too loud for the yoga pants.
Yeah. Whoops. So yeah, apparently this is a new fashion trend. I don't know why.
I don't get it. What's with the allure of the camel toe? Well, I mean, I don't get it. What's the allure?
Maybe that's your problem.
That's my problem. I mean,
you don't get it.
I mean, I get it, but why? I mean, who finds that sexy? Camel toe. I mean, you're a woman going around, with a space in between where you shouldn't be having a space.
I can answer that question, although then all the women are going to have to send all their cards and things and all that stuff to.
I don't know. I guess.
We leave the R-rated show and get to the X-rated show.
Maybe that seems sexy for some people. I guess maybe I'm not one of these people that finds that. I mean, okay, give me a short skirt, give me nylon stockings, heels, give me negligees and things like this, flirty stuff like that. But just a camel toe underwear,
So here's the real trick. Here's the real trick. Okay, fine, you're wearing this, right?
Yeah, we are.
You hit it off with a guy, and one thing starts to lead to another. And now you're going back for your rendezvous, and at some point, either you better hope that you're going to get undressed somewhere where he can't see it. God forbid he comes to undress you.
Right, exactly.
Maybe you'll have to get a couple of drinks in him so he won't notice when you take off your fake camel toe.
Right, and you know what it looks like? It looks like it's almost like they basically made a puffy jockstrap.
Okay, and so
that's what it looks like.
And the thing about it is, I mean, what happens the night after all is said and done, and he looks down on the floor and sees this contraption?
Right. Now, in fairness, I now have found a use for it, which is if I was a woman and someone kicked me down there, at least I'd have padding.
Okay, well, all right.
That's defensive. I don't. I mean, it's the only thing I can come up with. I don't.
But that's a good point. I mean, if you could use it to protect yourself like a jock strap, then okay. I mean, kudos to you. I don't want to have to go ahead and get frisky in a theater and everything. Feel something that like the front end of my car, and it's just like,
here's the scary part. You're playing. You're flirting with somebody. You start to put your hands down there. I mean, Mike, I don't know if you saw the picture of this thing.
Yeah, I saw it.
I mean, if I put my hand and I found something like that, I'm not sure I wouldn't think that basically I didn't find like a transgender person or something.
Or somebody who's been around the block more than his share of times than they need to be.
No, I don't mean that way. I mean, it's like a huge, long thing. It's like a long middle piece that it protrudes out, and it's like I said. I mean, it's the old Andrew Dice Clay joke. You got some set of balls. I mean.
Oh my God, I can't. Oh, all the places you go.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, well,
Well, oh my gosh! You know, it all goes back to the shenanigans of certain things. You know, right up there with stuffing your bra with tissue paper and you know, whatever else. Okay, I want to give myself a camel toe. A camel toe.
You know what this dress needs? More camel toe.
No.
More camel toe.
I guess so.
All right, we did get we've destroyed things enough this week. Right. I don't know if we have time to say, hey, Ivan, sing where they find us, but let's let Mike.
No, let Mike take that. That's his.
With our scorched earth policy, like a flamethrower to your driveway, that's our MO this week. We are on Facebook, and that's where we're usually at. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at SOTRT Podcast. We thank you for listening on PodBean. Please subscribe. And we're also on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. We'd appreciate it very much. And if you'd like to contact us, send us the message through Facebook, or you can get us the old email route as well. We are at sotrtpodcast@gmail.com for email. And we greatly appreciate you listening.
SOTRT, news for you and me. So, as we speak, we'll see you next week. So we say good night.
Good night.